Imagine walking through the abandoned basement of a hospital that had been closed for years. The lights are gone. The patients are gone. The staff are gone. Every room is empty. Every hallway is silent. Then, from somewhere deep in the darkness, you hear a child laughing. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And then comes another sound, a marble, rolling slowly across a concrete floor. Then another, and another. The problem: there shouldn't have been anyone there. Tonight, we're exploring one of Canada's lesser-known hospital mysteries, the chilling stories surrounding the abandoned St. Joseph Health Centre in Sudbury, Ontario, a place where visitors claimed they encountered something they could never explain, and where one of the most disturbing stories began beneath the hospital itself. The hospital. Long before the ghost stories began, St. Joseph's was a vital part of the community. For decades, the hospital cared for thousands of patients. Children were born there. Lives were saved there. Families gathered there during moments of joy and tragedy. The building witnessed nearly every emotion a person can experience: hope, fear, relief, grief. For over 60 years, doctors and nurses worked around the clock within its walls. Then everything changed. In 2010, the hospital closed. Patients were transferred elsewhere. Equipment was removed. Doors were locked. The once busy halls became silent. At least, that's what everyone expected. The empty building. Abandoned hospitals have a unique atmosphere. Even during daylight, they can feel unsettling. Rows of empty rooms, old operating areas, long corridors that seem to stretch forever. Every sound echoes. Every shadow appears larger than it should. As years passed, explorers and photographers began entering the vacant hospital. Most came looking for forgotten history. Some came searching for paranormal activity. Almost all of them left with stories, but one account would become the most famous. The photographer. One day, a photographer entered the abandoned building. He wasn't looking for ghosts. He simply wanted to document the decay of a once important hospital. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The upper floors were exactly what he expected. Dust-covered rooms, peeling paint, broken furniture, the silence of a place long forgotten. Then he decided to go lower, far lower, toward the sub-basement, the area beneath the hospital, a place few visitors explore, a place connected in local lore to old service corridors and areas associated with the hospital's former morgue operations. The deeper he went, the colder the air seemed to become. His flashlight illuminated only a narrow path ahead. Beyond that was darkness, absolute darkness. Then he heard it, a child giggling. The laughter. The sound was faint at first, so faint that he thought he imagined it. He stopped walking. The laughter stopped too. For several moments, there was complete silence. Then it happened again. A little girl's laugh. Clear enough to hear. Close enough to make his stomach tighten. The photographer froze. There shouldn't have been any children inside the building. The hospital had been abandoned for years. No families, no staff, no patients, nobody. Yet the laughter continued, echoing through the underground corridors, coming from somewhere he couldn't see, somewhere hidden beyond the reach of his flashlight. The marbles. Then came the second sound, a clicking noise, small, sharp, almost insignificant. Click, click, click. The photographer listened carefully. The sound grew louder. It seemed to be moving. Then he realized what it resembled. Marbles. Tiny glass marbles striking concrete, rolling across the floor, coming from somewhere inside the darkness. He swept his flashlight through the corridor. Nothing. No child. No marbles. No movement. The hallway remained empty. Yet the sounds continued, rolling, bouncing, echoing through the underground level. The photographer had reached his limit. He turned around and left, fast. Later, he would tell others about what happened beneath St. Joseph's. And that is when things became even stranger. Other reports. After the story spread, more people began sharing experiences connected to the hospital. Some claimed they had also heard the laughter of a little girl. Others reported feelings of being watched. A few described sudden cold spots. Several former workers recalled rumors that had circulated while the hospital was still operating. Stories whispered among staff. Stories that were never officially documented. Stories many people dismissed until they started hearing similar accounts from complete strangers. People who had never met each other. People who couldn't have coordinated their stories. Yet the details were often surprisingly similar. A child, a laugh, a presence, always somewhere nearby, always just out of sight. The historian's experience. One of the most interesting reports came from local historian Bob Stevens. During a visit to the abandoned hospital, he experienced something remarkably similar. He reportedly heard a child giggling inside the building. Then came the sound of marbles, the same strange detail, the same unexplained noise. A coincidence? Perhaps. But there was more. He also described seeing changes on an emergency room sign despite the building having no electrical power. To this day, believers point to these accounts as evidence that something unusual existed within the hospital. Skeptics argue there are simpler explanations. Echoes, animals, urban legends influencing perception. Old electrical systems behaving unpredictably. The truth remains uncertain. The legend of the little girl. As the years passed, the figure at the center of the mystery became known simply as the little girl. No one knows who she was. No historical records clearly identify a child matching the stories. No verified evidence proves she ever existed. Yet witnesses kept describing the same presence, the same laughter, the same feeling that someone small was moving through the darkness. Some paranormal investigators believe locations connected to intense emotional experiences may somehow preserve echoes of the past. Others reject the idea entirely. But regardless of what people believe, the legend continued to grow. The final question. Today, much of the original hospital has changed. The halls are no longer what they once were. Time has moved on, yet the stories remain. And one question continues to linger. What exactly did those witnesses hear beneath St. Joseph's Hospital? Was it simply the imagination of people exploring an eerie abandoned building? Did darkness and expectation create experiences that felt real? Or was there truly something waiting in the underground corridors? Something unseen, something forgotten, something that still wanders the shadows beneath the hospital? Perhaps we'll never know. But if the stories are true, then somewhere in the darkness, beneath the concrete and steel of a hospital long gone, a little girl may still be laughing. What do you think? Were the witnesses experiencing ordinary sounds in an abandoned building, or was something paranormal hiding beneath St. Joseph's Hospital? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy real-life mysteries, hauntings, and unexplained stories, subscribe for more. Because sometimes the most frightening stories aren't found in horror movies. They're found in places that actually existed.